So yesterday we looked at the Six Flags Over Georgia folding postcards, and today we're going to look at the Biloxi and the Mississippi folding postcards. Now I just have these two postcards that came from that particular mailbag that I opened up last week. This is an older one here, and look at the postmark. It looks like 1942. It has two 1-cent stamps there on it. And this other one here, 70s, maybe 80s. We'll get into it a little bit, see if there's any postmark. But we're going to start with the older one of the two, obviously. Shows the Biloxi Lighthouse there. The Biloxi Lighthouse is now on Highway 90, same location, but on the other side is the highway. It's a 4-lane highway. It's right there in the middle of the median. I've actually been up in the top of that. Me and my daughter went to it here a couple years ago, and you can do a little tour of it. Let's open this one up a little bit here, and it tells you about the history of Biloxi. If you want to pause and read through that, you're more than welcome to. Kind of tells you about the history of it back in those days. All right, let's get started on the views here. This one's a little bit interesting how this one opens up because the history and everything. It's a kind of weird. But anyways, you got the Beauvoir, Jefferson Davis. That was his summer home. I've been in there a couple of times, and they do reenactments of the Civil War battles and things. And I got a little video on that too. You got Fort Massachusetts. I've never been to Fort Massachusetts at Ship Island. As long as I've lived here, I've never been. It's something we're going to try to do this year, next year. Got the Biloxi Hotel overlooking the Mississippi Gulf Coast. That is the Church of the Redeemer. I can't remember if Hurricane Katrina messed it up. At one point, it was just the tower that was still standing. I can't remember. I have to go by and look. It's one of those things that's, it's been gone or you don't realize it's gone. Got some old fishing boats there on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Another bridge scene over the bays of the Gulf Coast. Administration building at the U.S. U.S. National Soldiers Home, VA they call them now. And that is, I can't think of what that is called. Anyways, it's an old hotel. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Beau Rivage Casino, actually, baseball stadium's there, and the Beau Rivage Casino's in here now. It's going to hit me one day what it's called. But anyways, and the last one, this says a Sturdy Oak in East Beach. That is Highway 90 now. That's gone. At least the fence and the little patio wrapping around the tree is gone. Katrina took care of it. Sadly, Katrina took care of a lot of the stuff you were going to be seeing in here. Main building, Broadwater Beach. I guess that's a hotel from back in the day. Got a city street there with the Spanish moss, looking down at the beach and the oak trees and all that. And they got the seawall. They've actually pumped that in, sand in. It's the longest man-made beach in the world. It's over 30 miles long now. So it's, like any other beach, but a lot of people don't know it's fake. It's all pumped in. Another little, what is it? Biloxi Community House. Not sure what that is. That's kind of the Highway 90 now. It shows you how it looked back in the day. Got some gardens there, Spanish moss and azaleas along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. You don't see a whole lot of Spanish moss these days. It's making a comeback, but hurricanes are just tearing it apart and whipping it around and tearing it off the trees. Got a sailboat out there in twilight. I believe that is the Edgewater Hotel. Now it's the Edgewater Mall. View of Deer Island from the Tivoli Hotel. That's what the other one was. The first one we looked at, that first hotel. I couldn't think of the name of it. That was called the Tivoli. If I can get back to it again here. That right there. That's the Tivoli Hotel. Yeah, I knew I'd come across it. So let's go on here to the newer one. And this one's just Mississippi. It's not Biloxi, but it's more kind of a whole a whole Mississippi kind of a little bit about the history there. If you want to take a look at it, pause it, read it, you're more than welcome to. Some of these I'm not going to be familiar with, so just kind of bear with me. Mississippi River in Greenville, up there towards the northern part of the state in the Delta. University of Mississippi, Ole Miss. And the Meridian Courthouse. And there's Biloxi, the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and you actually see there is the lighthouse. You can see how the Highway 90 is divided around it and everything. This is pre-90s, because there's the Tivoli Hotel still standing, and in the early 90s, maybe late 80s, they brought in I-10 is up this way. Coming right here, kind of where this tree line is, they brought in I-110. It actually goes out in the water and loops back around. It's just a evacuation route. They help out for people getting out of Biloxi and off that. And there is a Chapel of Memories at Mississippi State, Fort Hill, and Vicksburg National Military Park. I'm going to try to get to Vicksburg here in the next 2 to 3 years. Do all the military stuff. Take a look at all that up that area. First Presbyterian Church in Port Gibson. I will be in Port Gibson here in a couple months, actually. There's Howard Street in Greenwood. There's a Howard Street in Biloxi, too. That's Greenwood. Up there in the Delta area. The Lee County Courthouse in Tupelo. And there is another shot of Columbus, Mississippi. A little downtown area when downtown areas thrived. Way before Walmarts and Kmarts and all that stuff ruined downtown. Forest County Courthouse in Hattiesburg. I've been by that a couple of times. So, yeah, there's just some interesting, non-tourist attraction type things in this postcard. Like I said, some of these postcards are probably produced by, not necessarily the state, but they're not sponsored by anybody. Like with yesterday's postcards with Six Flags. Well, Six Flags paid for those postcards to be made to get the word out, advertising, that sort of thing. Whereas these type cards right here are just kind of showing you off the beauty and beauty aspects of the town or the state in this case. I've been Mississippi resident for over 40 years, and some of these things I've never seen before, and some of these things I've seen and remember being gone. And one of the good things of why I collect postcards, just the history of things of a bygone era, and things I never got to see, kind of a history buff. But yeah, if you ever been into Biloxi, remember seeing some of these scenes, or any of the scenes there in Mississippi, or you just want to leave me a comment about Biloxi or Mississippi in general, leave in the comment section below. Tomorrow I got probably a pretty big postcard spread we're going to do. It's going to be a little bit long, but not. I'm going to try to keep it pretty quick. So, yeah, hopefully I'll see y'all then, and appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time.